Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I just wanted to film a quick introduction for the second part of my September vlog. So this is still the weekend. I have to go back to work on Monday after 2 weeks off, which is not great, let's be real, nobody wants that. But it is what it is, so I'll deal with it. But reading wise, I'm currently reading The Bone Short War on audio. At the beginning of this vlog, I had 3.5 hours left. By now it's only 2.5 hours, I think. So I am in the final battle and everything is happening right now. I'm still not sure how I feel about it and how I feel about this series overall. But I will do a specific vlog for that series where I will talk in depth. But I'll also let you know when I finish that book. And then I'm also currently reading Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby van Pelt. I'm reading the German edition of that, and I am about a third of the way into that one. And yeah, I'm struggling a little bit with it. The beginning is very slow, a lot of characters where we don't really know why. But yeah, I hope to get into that a little bit more probably tomorrow, because today we have an exciting little project. Let me just grab it, because this weekend is a little readathon hosted by Riley Marie on her Patreon. We did the book scavenger hunt, and so the book I'm reading for that is The 5 People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. I'm currently halfway through. I won't really talk about this a whole lot because I will do a vlog for the whole experience. But it is very easy to read, so I'm already halfway through and I only read for a couple of hours right now with the cat sitting on top of me. I was pretty much immobilized, so yeah, I think I can finish this book today, and I will probably do so, and then go back to Remarkably Bright Creatures tomorrow. So today is the 18th of September. It's back to work day for me, unfortunately. I'm a little bit sad. The 2 weeks that I had off work were gone so fast, and yeah, I don't know. I just always need more vacation, I guess, but it's alright. During the weekend I finished 2 books, so I have a couple of updates. The first book I finished was quite the disappointment, and it was The 5 People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. Now, unfortunately, I did not like this book. I did not really enjoy how the message was brought across. I thought there were quite a few very problematic elements in here, and yeah, I did not enjoy this, unfortunately. This was a book that a friend gave to me to read, so it's always sad to not enjoy those kinds of books just because, you know, the people that give you books want you to find something meaningful in there. But unfortunately, there was nothing for me in this book. If you want a book like that, I would rather recommend something like The Midnight Library, which I think, even though it's still very heavy on the messaging, just does the storyline a little bit better. Or yeah, the OG version of this would be the Christmas Carol by Dickens. And also the one T.J. Klune book with the guy dying. That's probably very, very similar to this, but I guess a little bit better in the storyline. So would not recommend this one, unfortunately. And I do have a whole reading vlog kind of experience thing with the scavenger hunt. I don't know when I will upload this, but I think it will be before this video, so if you want, you can check that out for more thoughts. And then the other book that I finished was my audiobook The Bone Short War, the third book in the Drowning Empire series. And this one was also a little bit of a disappointment, but then the whole series was for me because I thought I would really love it. And I think it's just fine. It's a good series. I gave all of these books 4 stars, so I gave Bone Short War 4 stars as well. But if you expect to absolutely love something, 4 stars can still be a little bit of a disappointment, I guess. I just found these books to be a little bit too meandering for me. I just felt like they could have been shorter, and especially this last book, I feel like our characters are just running around not knowing what they're doing for a very long time. And yeah, I don't know, it was just not as satisfying as I wanted it to be. But yeah, I did a whole reading vlog for that series as well, which I guess will be up after this video. So we'll see. I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna upload all of these videos now. But yeah, there will be a video about this series coming. Then for my current read, Remarkably Bright Creatures. Again, unfortunately, this turns out to be a bit of a disappointment. But I have exactly 100 pages in the German copy left, so I hope I will finish this today or tomorrow. We'll see about that. But yeah, I am enjoying it, but again, it's just fine, and I just wanted to love this so bad. Whenever I saw the English cover, I thought this would be one of my new favorite books because octopus, and it just was so bright and stunning. But the story doesn't hold up to the cover, unfortunately. It's not very bright and shining. It's just okay. But I will tell you more of my thoughts when I finish this book, and I'm also using that one for a separate reading vlog. So there's a lot of reading vlogs going on. And then I started a new book because for the year-long Magical Readathon thingy, whatever it's called, I need to read a Dark Academia book in September. I don't like Dark Academia, but I looked at my wish list, like found 5 books that I would say were Dark Academia, and then I asked on a Discord channel for people to vote, and the book that won is In My Dreams I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead. I've just started it, nothing has happened so far, I am enjoying it, and yeah, that's my current read on audio. So again, I'll update you more on that one once I'm a little bit more into it. But yeah, that's my reading. Now I'm off to work. We'll see how it goes on the first day. So today's the 20th of September and the fall is creeping ever closer. I finished a book, so I'm here to tell you about it. Last night I finished Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby van Pelt. I unfortunately was quite disappointed with this book. I will talk more about it in a specific reading vlog where I read octopus books, but the short of it is that there is one male character that was just so annoying. He was getting on my nerves so much. He was such a, how was it put in one of the Goodreads review? A whiny man baby. And I just couldn't. And also I felt like the voice of the octopus just wasn't convincing to me. It didn't feel like anything that an octopus would think to me personally. So I gave it 3 stars. I don't think it's a bad book, but it just definitely wasn't for me and it wasn't what I expected. So that's a little bit sad. So now I'm participating in a little bit of a readathon. I think it is called the Oktoberfestathon. I will link the channel where it is hosted down below. The aim is to read German books, and unfortunately I still have books by German authors on my TBR because I am German and somehow these books always find their way to me. I don't have much luck with them, usually I don't enjoy them, but for the sake of this readathon, I'm gonna try to read at least some of them. So the first one I started now is a book that my grandma gifted to me. It is called Heimat, deine Sünder. It is on Goodreads. It has 0 reviews, so we'll see about that. So far, I really don't like the writing, but this is a memoir about a person who grew up on the border of France and Germany during the Second World War, and then they had to flee, and it's about this person's life, I guess. We'll see. I like the naked hardback, but the actual cover is horrendous. So I'm just gonna hold it up like this and save you the trouble. But I hope that this will be a very quick read because it's only like 240 pages. And that's what I'm reading right now. And then for my audiobook, In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, I am currently a little bit over a quarter of the way through the book. It still feels like quite a bit of setup. Like we just started getting into like the secrets. If you don't know, this book is about a notorious group of people who went to this very prestigious school, and it's now 10 years later, and they have like a class reunion where they're all coming back to the school. But before they graduated, one of their friends was killed, and one person was accused of being the murderer, but they could never convict that person. And now the younger brother of the girl who was killed is kind of forcing them to find out who really did it, I guess, during that class reunion. This has some dark academia vibes. It's also like a murder mystery kind of thing. It reminds me a little bit of, what is it called? When We Were Villains, If We Were Villains? I don't remember what the book is called. But I really liked the beginning, but then it kind of lost me. So I'm intrigued to see whether I like this book. It's not usually something I gravitate towards, but I need it for the year-long magical readathon. I think the Remarkably Bright Creatures I also read for the Summoning the Impling thing for the magical readathon. So I'm still a little bit working on that. But yeah, that's what I'm currently reading, and I'll let you know if something interesting happens. So today is the 21st of September and I have a hopefully very quick update. With the German book, I haven't really gotten that far into it, just a couple of pages, and so far I don't really like the writing style too much. It is very antiquated, is that how you would say it? It feels very old, even though this was published in the 80s, so it's not that old, but it's just not how I would ever speak. So that creates quite a bit of a disconnect. And then right now we are following the childhood of the author, and I always prefer it when authors kind of reflect with their like grown-up intellect and not tell the story how they saw it as children per se, which is done here. So this is very much written as if the author was still like 8 years old or something. So I don't really like that. And then it also, last night I read just a tiny little bit, and I don't know, like the author describes how he was stealing bread and giving it to war prisoners. And even though I know that there were probably Germans during the Second World War who were kind of alright, this feels, I don't know, like the whole narrative right now feels very clean washed, if you know what I mean. So yeah, the author claims that he was best friends with the French kids and didn't understand what the term enemy means, and now he's feeding war prisoners who are forced to work in the town where the family is right now. So yeah, I don't know. Like there is a book that has a title that is something like "Was I the Only One Cheering?" where a woman actually speaks out about how now all of the people always claim that during the war they were just these, like very good people who tried to do what they can against the regime, and obviously that can't be true. Like not everyone was against the regime or it wouldn't have lasted so long. So yeah, I don't know. So far I'm a bit meh about this one, but it's totally what I expected. Apart from that, I'm almost halfway through In My Dreams I Hold a Knife. I have a very strong suspicion of what's gonna happen in the end, but we will see. Basic setup is we have, did I already talk about this? I always forget what I said in my updates, so editing me, cut it out if I already said that. But yeah, we have this group of people who 10 years after graduating from this school, they go back for class reunion, and now they have to confront all of their secrets. Some of these secrets have to do with people being forced to come out. So keep that in mind if you read the book. And yeah, right now it is interesting. I enjoy listening to it, but it's something I just have on kind of like in the background. It's not something that is really gripping me yet. I'm not dying to learn what actually happened, but it is fun to kind of guess along and yeah, just have some suspicions and stuff. And so far, most of my guesses have been correct. So I'm intrigued to see whether in the end this book will have like big twists that kind of throw me off or something. We'll see. I'm very intrigued to see how it ends, but as I said, I like having it on in the background. I don't know how I would feel about it if I would be reading it as a physical book, but I think the audiobook is fine. So we'll see. I'll keep you updated on that one. So today is September the 23rd, so happy fall season. I think I'm gonna use this weekend to kind of celebrate. This usually means that I get into my pumpkin season, so I will go grocery shopping later, pick up my first pumpkin, and then we'll cook with it, we'll bake with it, it's gonna be amazing. And then I also want to clean my apartment a little bit and pull out all the fall candles. I'm so excited. I do love summer. It's my favorite season just because the weather is good for my mental health. But there is something magnificent about autumn as well. The only thing I don't like is that it leads into winter. Let's be real. So, yeah, come along. I'll give you reading updates later. So today is the 25th of September. I had a lovely weekend with lots of pumpkin, which is amazing. But now I don't quite remember what I've already updated you on, so I'm sorry for that. In case I haven't said it already, I did finish my audiobook In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, and this one was really good. I enjoyed it, and I think that it did a good job of like giving a lot of people a motive and kind of leading you astray, and then just, yeah, I don't know, I just like the pace with all the reveals. I guess I had the feeling that it was very easy to kind of guess along, and you would always have this idea of what is set up right before it's actually said. So I thought the pacing was quite good. I do like unlikable characters, so I didn't have an issue with the main character in this book, who is definitely a little bit unlikable. But yeah, I thought it was quite interesting. I had a good time listening to it, and I gave it 4 stars. Now, my next audiobook is American Mermaid by Julia Langbein, and this one I'm reading for a separate reading vlog, but it is a setup I usually like. This is again somewhere between literary fiction and horror. We are following a former teacher who published a book that became a big success, and now she's supposed to help make the book into a movie. The book was called American Mermaid, and it was about a mermaid who was adopted by humans and basically kept away from the water for her whole life. And when she tries to kill herself by dropping into the sea, she returns back to being a mermaid and then becomes an eco-warrior. So the book is quite feminist, but now the movie makers don't really like that angle. And I think over the course of the book, things will start going wrong for the production team. We'll see about that. I'm not that far in, maybe 2 hours or something at the most. But yeah, I'm very intrigued to see how it goes. And then I finished reading this German book. This was quite interesting as well. I didn't really expect much of it. In its core, it is a book about education and the power of knowledge, and that's usually something I enjoy. However, the writing in this book really wasn't my favorite. It is quite old. It was published in the 80s. I don't know, all the suffering in this book was a little bit much for me personally. It just gave me very weird feelings that I didn't really enjoy. So overall, I gave it 2.5 stars. And then I started and am now halfway through another German book for the Oktoberfestathon, and that would be Radikale Zärtlichkeit by Şeyda. Now, this one is a feminist text about love and, I don't know, affection. I don't know how you would translate Zärtlichkeit. But yeah, I'm really vibing with this so far. I'm really enjoying it. And I think that a lot of what the author says in here really resonates with me. There is quite a bit about non-monogamy, which I really enjoyed, and just how love, and especially the love we get portrayed in movies and the media, is ultimately a tool that keeps the patriarchy in charge, a tool to keep women in their place, basically. So yeah, I'm really enjoying the reading experience of this book. Yeah, I also continued a little bit with Me and White Supremacy. I'm pretty much done with week 2, and I enjoyed week 2 a little bit better. If you missed it, I talked about the first week of this in my last vlog. I wasn't the biggest fan. I feel like this is quite shallow, and yeah, I expected so much more from it because it was such a hyped book. So week 2 is more about stereotypes and anti-blackness, and I felt like the descriptions in week 2 of these different concepts were quite well done for people who are very new to this, people who would be surprised that they were raised in a racist society. And still, I feel like I don't really gain much from this. Like talking about our German racism and how that is connected with being against Muslims and hating foreigners. This book is so much more on the spot. The author is of Turkish descent, so her family came from Turkey. And so, yeah, I feel like her experiences, what she's talking about, is so much closer to the German kind of racism. And I feel like with this book, it is much more for like Americans and probably British people and stuff like that. So, yeah. That's my update. I'll talk to you when something interesting happens. So today's the 27th of September, and last night I finished Radikale Zärtlichkeit by Şeyda, and this is quite an interesting book. I really enjoyed my reading experience with this. However, I think that the beginning was much stronger and then it kind of fizzled out, which was a little bit sad. But yeah, I think if you wanna think more about love, about romantic relationships in a capitalist society, this can be a great entry point. These are not themes that are like new to me or very surprising. It's stuff that I also deal with in my like job as a researcher. So family inequality, inequality of the genders and stuff like that. It's all within the range of my studies. So I don't feel like I've learned a lot of new things, but I think the blend of different texts, philosophers, sociologists, and then the author's own experiences was very nice to read about. And it also gives you quite a good list of books to continue on, from like Audre Lorde and Bell Hooks to Eva Illos if you're interested. So yeah, I think this is a great starting point if you're into this topic. In the end, I decided to give this 4 stars, and I've seen that this author put out a new book about hate, so maybe I will take a look at that in the future. But the next book I want to read now, this one I found in a little free library, and this is called Die Nacht, der Könige by Stefan. I have no idea what this one is about. I've had it on my shelf for a very, very long time, like multiple years. So I think this little Oktoberfestathon is a good incentive to read this, and then I've done my due. Like, then I'm ready to move on from the German authors. This could go very wrong, but it could also be intriguing. Like, I've read the description of the plot on Goodreads, and it doesn't sound horrible. Something about a man meeting a mysterious woman who might lead him down some terrible path. I have no idea. So we'll see. It's quite short. It's only 200 pages. So I think this should be done fairly quickly. And then I think I'm ready to go into some more Halloween-y reading. And for my audiobook, American Mermaid, I'm now a little bit more than a third of the way through. And so far, it's okay, but I'm underwhelmed. I like the bits of the book within the book, but all the other stuff is quite boring so far. It's like basically these like writers and the author of the book discussing how they're gonna adapt it, and the 2 writer guys are just bros, and so their ideas are pretty horrendous, and yeah, not much more is happening so far. So today's the 29th of September. We're coming very close to the end of the month already. And I don't know where it went, to be honest, but I started reading Die Nacht, der Könige, and the beginning was a bit odd. I'm now almost halfway through. The beginning was a little bit odd, I have to say that. We're following a guy who is doing his job while his family is on holiday, and he has to do this like one project, and when he's done with that he can go join his family. And he's in like advertisement, I guess. So he and his female colleague are going to this firm that they can get a very lucrative advertising job at, but they have to convince the boss there that they're the right ones. And when they get there, the boss has a very weird assistant that seems to be very out of place, not doing an assistant's job at all. And so it's quite mysterious. And then after this meeting at night, when the guy and his female colleague are going out for dinner to discuss what they're going to do about this job, they see the boss and the assistant in the restaurant, and weird things start happening. And so, yeah, this got more interesting after the whole like advertisement kind of weird stuff. I'm not quite sure about the main character yet, but I'm very intrigued to see where this actually goes, because yeah, now I'm kind of into it, so we'll see. And then with my audiobook American Mermaid, I am more than halfway through now, but unfortunately it's quite a bit of a letdown. I'm not really enjoying the book. I have to force myself to listen to it, and if I would ever DNF, I probably would DNF this book by now. But I still have a little bit of hope left that maybe the second half will be better, so we'll see. But yeah, that's my reading so far. I would love to finish both of these books before the month is over, but with the audiobook, I don't think I will be able to do it. With the physical read, I'm pretty sure that I can finish that by tomorrow. So today is the 1st of October, and this is the final update of this vlog. Last night I finished reading Die Nacht, deine, Könige by Stefan. This is kind of a German thriller, very odd. I don't know. When I got to the end, I wasn't even sure whether there were like pages missing or whether this was really the end, because the book is slightly damaged, but all the sources I found say that this book has the amount of pages that is in here, so I'm pretty confident I read the whole story, and it was a pretty big mess. Like, the beginning is odd, then there is a very small part that got intriguing, and then after that it just gets so weirdly sexual all the time and so male gazy, and I just didn't like it. So in the end I gave it 2 stars. I don't know what I was supposed to get from this book. Didn't get really anything apart from it's very easy to read quickly, I guess. So that's that, and that is my little my little adventure with German authors for the Oktoberfestathon. I read 3 books for that, and I think that's pretty much all I can do. And now I'm excited to go into the spooky season, even though the weather is still like summer here. So yay, climate change. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention is my audiobook American Mermaid, and it's not a surprise that I forgot to mention it because I'm actually not really enjoying it. But yeah, I have 1 hour left of that I will finish in October. I don't think that this hour will save the book. I think this will be like a 3-star read. I'm quite disappointed, to be honest, because I thought I would love it. But yeah, my final thoughts in the next vlog when I finish the last hour. I hope you enjoyed this vlog. Leave a like or a nice comment. I always appreciate those. And I will talk to you soon with more spooky vlogs.